What does it mean to be wise as serpents and harmless as doves? In sending out the 12, Jesus said to them, "Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves." The NIV says, "shrewd as snakes and innocent as doves." Jesus was using similes, figures of speech that compare two unlike things, to instruct his disciples how to behave in their ministry. Just before he tells them to be wise as serpents and harmless as doves, he warns them that they are being sent out like sheep among wolves. The world, then as now, was hostile to believers, not incidentally hostile, but purposefully hostile. Wolves are intentional about the harm they inflict upon sheep. In such an environment, the question becomes, how can we advance the kingdom of God effectively without becoming predatory ourselves? Jesus taught his followers that, to be Christ-like in a godless world, they must combine the wisdom of the serpent and the harmlessness of the dove. In using these similes, Jesus invokes the common proverbial view of serpents and doves. The serpent was subtle or crafty or shrewd in Genesis 3:1. The dove, on the other hand, was thought of as innocent and harmless. Doves were listed among the clean animals and were used for sacrifices. To this very day, doves are used as symbols of peace, and snakes are thought of as sneaky. 19th century pastor Charles Simeon provides a wonderful comment on the serpent and dove imagery. Now the wisdom of the one and the harmlessness of the other are very desirable to be combined in the Christian character, because it is by such a union only that the Christian will be enabled to cope successfully with his more powerful enemies. Most people don't mind having their character compared to a dove's purity and innocence, but some people recoil at the image of a serpent, no matter what the context. They can never see a snake in a good light, even when used by Jesus as a teaching tool. But we should not make too much of the simile. We cannot attach the evil actions of Satan as the serpent with the serpent itself. Animals are not moral entities. The creature itself cannot perform sin, and shrewdness is an asset, not a defect. This is the quality that Jesus told his disciples to model. The serpent simile stands in Jesus' dialogue without bringing forward any of the serpent's pejoratives. It's a basic understanding in language that when a speaker creates a simile, he is not necessarily invoking the entire potential of the words he has chosen, nor is he invoking the entire history and tenor of the linguistic vehicle. Rather, the speaker is defining a fresh relationship between two things. A quick look at Matthew 10:16 shows that Jesus was invoking only the positive aspects of the serpent. There is no hint of his unloading Edenic baggage upon his disciples. He simply tells them to be wise and innocent as they represent him. When Jesus told the 12 to be wise as serpents and harmless as doves, he laid down a general principle about the technique of kingdom work. As we take the gospel into a hostile world, we must be wise, avoiding the snares set for us, and we must be innocent, serving the Lord blamelessly. Jesus was not suggesting that we stoop to deception, but that we should model some of the serpent's famous shrewdness in a positive way. Wisdom does not equal dishonesty, and innocence does not equal gullibility. Let us consider Jesus as an exemplar. The Lord was known as a gentle person. Indeed, scriptures testify that he would not even quench a smoking flax. But was he always and only gentle? No. When the occasion demanded it, he took a whip in hand and chased the money changers out of the temple. Jesus' extraordinarily rare action, seen in light of his usual mien, demonstrates the power of using a combination of tools. This dove-like man of innocence spoke loudly and clearly with his assertiveness in the temple. In his more typical moments, Jesus showed that he was as wise as a serpent in the way he taught. He knew enough to discern the differences in his audiences, a critical skill. He used the storytelling technique to both feed and weed, and he refused to be caught in the many traps that his enemies laid for him. Jesus showed that he was as harmless as a dove in every circumstance. He lived a pure and holy life. He acted in compassion, and he challenged anyone to find fault in him. 3 times, Pilate judged Jesus to be an innocent man. The Apostle Paul also modeled the wise as serpents, harmless as doves technique. Paul lived in dove-like innocence and good conscience before God, and learned to deny his carnal desires so as not to jeopardize his ministry. But Paul also displayed serpent-like shrewdness when he needed it. He knew his legal rights and used the legal system to his advantage. He also carefully crafted his speeches to maximize the impact on his audience. In Matthew 10:16, Jesus taught us how to optimize our gospel-spreading opportunities. Successful Christian living requires that we strike the optimal balance between the dove and the serpent. We should strive to be gentle without being pushovers, and we must be sacrificial without being taken advantage of. We are aware of the unscrupulous tactics used by the enemy, but we take the high road. Peter admonishes us, live such good lives among the pagans that though they accuse you of doing wrong, they may see your good deeds and glorify God on the day He visits us. Got questions? The Bible has answers, and we'll help you find them.